Hello, my squishies! It is just after 6 o'clock. It is Friday night. I think it's felting time. So, for those of you who have not joined me before, we do these live and then they stay up afterwards. So, I always give it a minute just to make sure that I can be heard. If somebody pops on in the comments and says that you can hear me, that would be great. And that everything is all good. But while we wait for that, although I'm always a little bit nervous, I'm talking to myself. While we wait for someone to say that they can hear me, I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to needle felting. So, needle felting and these videos. We'll start with these videos. So, as I said, we record them live, and people do chat in the comments. You can do chat replay and see who I'm chatting to after the fact. So, I'm not just talking to myself, although it is entirely possible that I am just talking to myself. I should really have a bit of paper that just says, "Can you hear me?" These streams are nonsense, is the nicest way of putting it. Excellent. I can be heard. And we have a new viewer. Hello, new viewer. Welcome to the nonsense. Yeah, so these streams are nonsense. Well, I chat nonsense. So you can pause them, you can rewind. There's a strange noise, I apologise. Hello from France. Hello to France. Yeah, you can pause them, you can rewind, you can fast forward, and in the case of my parents, you're more than welcome to mute me if you do not want to listen to my nonsense. You can just skip through to all the important bits where you see me doing the felting. But yeah, so these, I'm going to start selling these as kits. So in your kit, you will have a foam mat. Yours will be slightly smaller because it's a wee kit. But this protects your surfaces and makes felting easier. So always felt onto your foam mat. We've got our needles. So in the kit you get, I've got ink on my hand from today. A felting needle. Now it is very sharp at one end and hooked at the other end. Try very hard not to stab yourself with the sharp end. You probably will. I apologise, but try, if possible, to keep your hand away from where you're stabbing. And this is the end we're going to be stabbing with. The hooked end is if you have a tool, it lets it go in the tool easier. But in these kits, we don't have tools because they're just the wee kits. But you'll have a couple of these because these do break. If it breaks, try and find all the bits and dispose of them carefully. I pop them in, it's actually right here, old ink pot, not sponsored, and just fill it up, and then when it's completely full, I'll dispose of it safely, like a sharps container essentially. We've got our foam mat, we've got our needles, and then, for those of you who are watching live, in the kit, this is going to give it away slightly, we're also going to have this. This is a 3D printed plant pot. So I print these here in the shop. I have a wonderful 3D printer just sitting beside me. They're made from PLA, which is a plant-based material. So in theory, not in your home composting, but if in future in commercial composting, these can be composted. But they're also very hard wearing and wonderful. So we've got our little plant pot. I'm going to pop that there so that we see it. And then the last and most important bit is our fibre. So this is all wool. It has come off the sheep. It's been washed, brushed, and in some cases dyed, and then formed into long ropes. Now, there's a few tricks to working with these. So if you have your hands nice, this is called roving or tops. It is kind of used interchangeably, but this is technically roving. Have your hands nice and far apart and pull gently, and you'll see the individual hairs just pull off. So this is the length of the individual hair, known as the staple length of the fibre. So if I was to have my hands too close together, I'm pulling against the same bit of hair or wool. So you want to have your hands nice and far apart, and if there's any twist in it, it's also not going to pull apart as well, because twist is what makes yarn and holds it together. So you want to make sure it's not twisted, gently pull, and you're good to go. So So these two are tops, well, are roving, and then this one here is slightly different. So you can see that that one was really nice and smooth when I pulled it apart, but for this one you can see it is a little bit more bobbly. So this is a preparation called slivers. So it's been washed, well, it's been shorn, washed, brushed, but it's just not been brushed as thoroughly and then formed into ropes. And this is really good. We call this core wool. So you'll make the core of the shape with this and then do the pretty bits on the outside. If you want to, you can also use it just for general felting as well. But I think that's enough of my rambling nonsense. Would you like to see what we're making tonight? I know if you're watching this after the fact, you have seen pictures already, but for those of you who are just joining us in the comments, we're gonna do, this is so cute. I literally just finished designing this about 5 minutes ago. We don't talk about this. Long story, I'll tell you later. But we are gonna make this wee guy. So this is our, so you use this as a, well, you could use it as a needle felting pin cushion, or just as any general pin cushion, or it's just as a little pretty thing on your shelf. But it's a little Scottish castle on a rock in a pot we're going to make today. And so, oh, things are bleeping at me. Oh god, oh dear, I wonder what's bleeping at me. I got distracted. Let's start felting. Okay, I'm going to pop this here so that you can see what we're doing. And we're going to start by making, oh, in fact, before we start, so this is just popped in with the friction of the wool against the inside, holds it in nicely. So you can see the core is made of that, and the bits that you see are made up of colour. So we're going to start by making the ball that just fits in there. So if you haven't felted before, good luck. What we're going to do is I'm going to build up the ball in little stages. So I'm going to take, now I got told off for this before, very important right now is that we separate a tiny bit of this, so even less than that, probably that much, that much, and put that aside. And I'm not felted. Your duty as watchers is to make sure I do not pick that up and felt with it, because that's going to be used for the doors and things. I don't want to forget it. So I'm going to take the rest of it, apart from that bit. I'm watching you. I'm going to start by scrumpling just loosely, sort of opening up the fibres, and then we're going to very loosely form that into a ball. So I'm going to take my single needle and just stab. I'm always stabbing straight. Am I still in frame? Yes, I am. Stabbing straight and right the way through. So we're going to work quite fast, building up the size. So I've taken another lump and I'm flattening it a bit, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the ball that I've just made. And now there's no right or wrong way to make this shape. This is just the way I do it, and it's just force of habit, I think, at this point. You can scrumple it up and do it all in one go if you like, and also every so often give it a wee smoosh. Oh, I need to put the castle down the way. So felting is when all the fibres knot together to create, it's essentially a massive knot. And so what this barbed needle does is it pushes the fibres in and helps them lock together. So you can also do that, helping them lock together by rolling it in a ball. Yes! Sorry, I will get distracted by the comments every so often. Is it? Oh, I can't pronounce names, I'm dyslexic. Sharina? Yes, Sharina. It would be great for, you could, oh my god, why didn't I think of this? Well, I mean, in theory I did because I designed it. But if all your pins have different coloured heads, you can pin them all round And it's like little flowers. Okay, oh my god, right, I need to find my pins now because I really want to. Okay. No, I'm gonna fail. I'm not gonna get distracted. So I'm gonna add another layer. So I've weighed out this to be the right amount to fit into there. So I know I just need to fill it all, use it all to fill it. Well, now I'm going to have to get coloured pins to make sure I have the right colours for flowers. Also, quilting is great fun. I'm not a good quilter, and I don't do it often, but when I do it, I do enjoy it. There we go. So I'm trying to do this relatively quickly because it is quite boring. I'm literally just stabbing a circle. You can take your time and pause me. Pause me so you don't have to feel rushed at this stage. So once we've got this basic ball and we start putting the stuff on, you can pick it back up. You can see how large this ball is so far compared to this. But I weighed this before I started and it is the same weight. I said it right, yay, thank you. And so this, you can see how firm this is when I squish it compared to how squishy that is. That's what we're going for. The more you stab it, the firmer it'll get. So I'm not going to make this too firm tonight because time. And I'm doing this live and you don't need to see it. Or I could tell you the story of Peanut while I do a little bit more and then right, I'm going to take the 3 to it. So I've, welcome if you're new here. I have a little shop in Fort William that sells yarn and crafty things, mainly Scottish wool, British wool, and needle felting kits that I design here and we do them here. We have a shop dog. Well, she's my dog, but she's also the shop dog, called Peanut. She's a little toy poodle and she is a chaos gremlin. And now that we've moved shop recently and I've got my wonderful office upstairs, it's great. She's not downstairs as much. So she gets into even more trouble because she's not getting to meet people all the time. And she was being very good yesterday, which was very surprising. She was very quiet while I was doing the accounts. We don't talk about it. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's up to. And I look down. And I look at her beautiful poodle face. She's a sort of light apricot, champagne coloured poodle. And I look down at her face and there's yellow all over it. And I'm, interesting. And she'd found an empty, but there was still a little bit, in fact, not this one, but one very similar printer ink refill, and decided that was the best chew toy in the world. So very quickly had to Google, is printer ink toxic for dogs? How on earth she got it, I have no idea, because it's kept in a cupboard and the cupboard was shut. And it's not, she's fine, everything's fine, nobody panic. But now I have a dog that has been dyed yellow for who knows how long until the yellow comes out of her. I mean, it would have been better if it was blue ink or something. That would be quite fun and have a little yellow blue dog. Anyway, that's enough rambling. This is starting to firm up. It's firm enough to squish in there. I can finish it. I'll finish firming it up later. And as we're adding layers of colour, it will firm up as well. So what we're going to do is I'm only going to cover the top half in this green, which is, oh, and I am going to remember the colour names. So this is olive green. I'm going to take this, and I don't want it to be nice and neat, so I'm going to scrumple it up a little bit so we're not having a nice neat line. And I'm just going to stab the top half really roughly with this green. Peanut is, in case you're worried that she's eating more printer ink, she's away on a walk with my parents. She goes for Granny and Grandpa walks on every other Friday. So she is out enjoying the beautiful scenery that we have around here. Last week she actually went up to an old fort, Dunderdale Fort, which is near here in Fort William. I would say it looks like this, but it doesn't. It's you know, I don't know what it looks like because I've never seen it. It looks like a ruin. I'm going to go with it looks like a ruin, and then I can't be wrong. Now, what I will say at this point as well is we are felting with wool, well, roving and slivers, but you can felt with other things as well. So if you have yarn left over from projects, you can add that in, especially if it's wool yarn, even better. You can just about do it with acrylic, but it's not as nice. So I'm just gonna smoosh this and check. Yeah, so that is, I quite like the over the flowing pot. I might go for overflow pot on this one. The more we stab it, the more it'll tidy up because it's still quite fluffy just now. And oop, oop. But now let's get on to some castle building. I'm just having fun stabbing, to be fair. I do group classes of needle felting, and it is so fun watching them. Like the first 5 minutes when they start stabbing, the relaxation and just the whole room goes quiet and pauses while they're stabbing, and you hear it's great. But then once they get into the swing of it, the giggles start. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there. I know it's, but you can leave it that size if you like. But let's make us some castles. Now, I've done 3 little castles. One has crinolines? No, that's a dress. Has the wiggly top bit. Castellations, that's the word I'm looking for. You know, because castles. One of them I have done a castellation. I didn't do it to the other 2, but I think I will this time because I really like the wee castellations. You can do any number of turrets, castles, buildings that you like. If you have a specific castle you really like, you can model that. I just like 3 because 3 is uneven numbers are found in nature all the time. So anyway, rambling. Let's build some castles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the grey. This is just natural grey. It's undyed, so you get all the natural variations of the colour. Oh, I should have mentioned, did I mention that this is from Shetland sheep? So you get all the natural variations of the Shetland sheep there, and it makes the castles a little bit more interesting. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to make sausages. So I'm just going to wrap a length around a finger and then stab it. Now it's going to get longer and you're going to panic and it's going to seem far too big. So I'm just turning and stabbing. But it's going to get bigger and then we're going to make it smaller. So don't panic. I would say if you want to do square castles, you can. Distracting myself. If you want to do square castles, you can. I wouldn't. I'm doing them round. It's easy. To flatten off the end, I am going this way, but you're very likely to go right too deep and stab your fingers. So be very careful, and if possible, do it at a slight angle so you're not going right the way down. That is when you're gonna stab yourself more, and I'm impressed that I have not stabbed myself yet. So we're doing 3D needle felting. you can also do 2D needle felting where you do flat and a picture, and you're a lot less likely to stab yourself doing the flat pictures than you are when you're doing 3D. So if you do stab yourself a lot when we're doing this, maybe try doing a flat one, like a picture of a castle. I have castle picture videos on on my channel, and you're a lot less likely to stab yourself. Oop! I keep shifting. So funny story. Not funny at all, but funny for me. My background is normally the lovely wood grain effect thing, but I was setting up the camera today and I could not, for the life of me, get it to look straight. Maybe because it's June, and I gave up, and I've literally taped down some bits of paper on top of them. Yeah, so you can't see how wonky it is. So, and the paper now keeps moving. I should have properly taped it down. So if I do go out of shot, I apologise in advance. Next, not next Friday, but the Friday after, I will have a new background that is properly affixed to the table. Now we do want these sausages to be quite firm because they have to stand up, and I'm going to do 3 of them, so I might as well do 3 at once. I'm going to do 3 at once. I'm going to add another bit onto this one because I feel like it should be a little bit of a bigger sausage. This is what I mean about the rambling nonsense. I think there's something about when your brain is doing one task and having to talk at the same time, or when my brain is having to talk and stab at the same time. It takes a lot of brain power, and my brain just wanders. Okay, that's starting to firm up nicely. There are 3. You can hold multiple needles at the same time. This is a tool that holds them. With the 3D felting, it's a difficult one. Sometimes it makes it harder. Sometimes it is easier. Anyway, okay. I would do this a little bit firmer if I had the time. I can't because I'm aware that we are on a time crunch, so I'm going to leave that at that. And I'm going to so this tail at the bottom we're going to use to lock that in so it doesn't move. If you don't have a tail, that's okay, don't worry about it. But it's going to be about, Now I'm going to do my castellations at the top, and to do that I'm going to, first of all, so you can see here that gets wider at the top, so I'm going to add a little bit more round like this and stab that in, and I'm also going to do a black line underneath it with the bit I haven't accidentally felted, I'm proud of me, to make it to stand out a little bit more. But I'm just giving you an idea how to do castles. I would love, 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 love to see what you come up with your castles. It does look a bit wonky at the start, don't panic. All comes out, I was going to say it all comes out gravy, it all comes out castle-y in the end. Remember, you want to go from lots of different angles try not to stab my fingers while I flatten the top off a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of this and pull it nice and thin and long, and then I'm going to just stab that in, whoop, around the base there. Not the base, there's definitely a name. Around the bottom of the cancellation features. There we go. Done. And now I'm going to get a little bit more. Now, if you are not doing cancellations, what I've done at the top is I've just put the brown in and stabbed it in so it goes in like a little bit deeper, so it's like the shadow. So there's still a wall around the top in my this is in my brain. There's still a wall around the top, and then that little bit on the inside is in shadow. This is where I'm definitely going to stab myself. So that could be your first castle, but I'm going to put on the cancellations. Please, somebody in the comments tell me if I'm using cancellations correctly. Quick, someone Google what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take a tiny bit, whee, and stab, stab, stab into a wee dot. You can see I'm not holding it, I'm just stabbing, letting the foam mat kind of hold it a little bit instead of my fingers. Making a wee dot, and then you can roll it in your hands, whoop, and lose it. And I'm going to take this is the slightly fiddly bit, but worth it. So I'm going to pop that. There we go. So you can have bigger or smaller cancellations depending on what size you want them to be. So I'm just going to stab them in, make sure it's nice and securely stabbed in. I'm going to do, now I did 4 there, but I think I want to do 5. I think I like the unevenness. So again, I'm going to grab a little bit, just a little fluff ball, a woof, as my mum would say. Hi mum, I think you're listening, unless you've muted me. Woof, or woofins. We were trying to work out recently where the term woof or woofins to mean like a tiny bit of fluff comes from, and we were not sure if it's Yorkshire or not. If anybody knows of the word woofins or its etymology, please let us know. There we go, and I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to put another one, so leaving a wee gap. There we go. Stabbing it in. And you see at the start it bounced out a little bit. That's okay, that happens. Don't panic. Just keep stabbing. There we go. We have 2. I'm going to add another one. I really want to go and find my multicolored pins, but I don't think that would make very good content. And again, I'm going to pop that and don't stab your finger. Oh, and don't make the mistake I made of putting it in this and then making the castle shape. Learn from my mistakes. It's much harder. There we go. We have 3 castellations. It looks a bit wonky. I'm totally fine with it being wonky. It is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be fun, and you're meant to enjoy it. And perfection, generally, is not fun. And the castles are falling apart. I realise I'm right in the bottom corner for this. I've taken up the rest of my mat. Move up. Whoop, whoop. There we go. That's better. At least I don't have... So my old camera mount would slowly but surely go whoop and go off on an angle because it was held together with rubber bands at points. So at least we don't have that anymore. It stays where it is. I just wander off. So we've got our 4 there, and yeah, there's definitely space for the 5th. That's going to make me happy. Now, remember, you don't have to do all this in one session. You can do in fact, I recommend you do a little bit tonight. Do like the hour, because this is going to be an hour long. What have we got? We've still got 15-20 minutes. And then come back in a couple of days with fresh eyes and fresh stabby. So again, I'm just going to pop that in there. And now my castellations are all different sizes. That's totally fine. We are not here for perfection. I'm going to say that again. Look at it! Can you see the little castle? Now, because we've added in all these, you see a wee line going round. So all I do is grab another thin bit, and this will help to secure it in as well, and just go round and thicken up that wee line. So it blends the two. And you can, I've gone back off the edge again, and you can definitely take your time, pause, come back in a while, neatening up. So that took me a little bit longer than I want to do live to get those all looking neat, but I'm happy with this for the live demo. I want you to make it all nice and neat. Come back when you're nice and happy with it and your castle is looking castle-y. And now we're going to stab the castle. It does look like fingers. I really need to make. There is some screaming outside. I apologise. The shop is on the high street. At high street level now. Woo! We moved and now we're fancy. In the wee Highland town of Fort William. Okay. Right. Now, I'm going to put the door on afterwards. And if you want to do windows, you can do windows as well. Oh, hey Carla, you made it. Welcome. Oh, we've got 2 from the USA in the chat now. You've missed me making a ball with grass on top, and now we're going to put the castle. So I am going to pop it in there to center my castle at the top. So you can do them. Oh, do I want to do loads and do wonky ones? Oh, maybe. Okay, I'm not finishing this tonight. But that was my belly rumbling. I'm not finishing this tonight because I want my dinner. But the second one, there's going to be more than enough for you to do lots of castles in the kit. I think I want to do like 5 castles all over. Yeah, should we do that? So I'm going to start just a little bit off center, I think. And now, if you don't have this little basey bit that I left of loose fluff, that's okay, because I forgot to tell you about it. You can take a little bit, add it onto the bottom, and just felt the top in. And leave the bottom loose, and do that all the way round, because we're going to use all this fluff to thoroughly anchor in our castle. So the way I'm going to do it is, I'm going to do it so that you can see it, is not in the pot. I'm going to loosely hold the castle with my finger where I want it to be. Take my single needle, and I'm stabbing this loose fluff in and to the base, and this is where you're probably going to stab your fingers, in and to the base. There we go. So you see how floppy it is? That's okay, because we're going to stab, in and to the base. And that's going to lock your castle in. Now don't worry if you get grey over the grass, we can just add more grass and it'll look like bushes and things. But we're going to thoroughly secure this in. And I'm going to be going like down the main body, I guess, to secure it in really thoroughly. We don't want this bit coming out. There we go. That is starting to... This is a little bit soft. That's okay. Concentration on my face right now. Okay, we have first. I kind of like it with just the solitary castle. Oh no. Oh no. Well, it's squinty now, so I've got to do multiple. Do I want to do just the one? Help. Oh, a snail. A snail on it would be awesome. Yes, 100%. What is for dinner? Cauliflower cheese? Broccoli cheese? I think. It gets made for me on a Friday night. It's great. What's for your dinner? What is it? Yeah, what is everybody eating? Also, has anybody looked up castellation? Oops. Right, no, distraction. Distraction. We've done one. I really like it just as a single one. No, we're going to put the door in. I'm going to do another one. We've got 15 minutes. Going to be a sensible adult. Now, if you're like me, and when you're learning a new craft, you watch the video from start to finish, and then you start the project, you can make your castle any size that you like. You can do a bigger one, just a single one, or you can do multiple like this. Where am I going to put the door? I'm going to put the door there. So I've just taken a little dot of the dark brown, and I'm just plonking it in there. That is my door. Easy. We have a castle and a door. Oh, don't hit the lights. The lights might fall down. Nobody panic. But your chicken and vegetables are very delicious, I have to say. Okay, we've done one castle. Have we got time for a second one? Yeah, let's do it. Let's pop that in there. I still want to fill this with castles, actually. I'm going to do multiple ones. There'll be multiple examples. Ooh, meatloaf sandwich. You know, I've never had meatloaf. I've heard it's absolutely delicious, and I'm quite jealous. So again, I'm going to roll up. I might do a slightly bigger one for the second one. Oh yeah, I got halfway through telling you important information. Got distracted by dinner. Perfectly normal. Yeah, so if you are like me and you watch all the video before you start doing the thing, and you can make them any size you like. What was the end of my sentence? Can you tell it's Friday night? You can, there we go. You can pre-make them before you stab them in. Probably should have told you this at the start. And play about with layouts. Sorry, I'm concentrating on, I've also got my tongue sticking out, concentrating on not stabbing myself at this point. Like, it got longer. That's okay, because you can also, if it's starting to get too long and you don't think it's going to squish down again, you can even fold bits. And then, I actually did this on the other one. You can fold it and wrap it around again. The joy of felt. Oh, yeah, because that's, yep, These are words. Don't stab your finger. I'm going back to the single, it's easier. So again, if you're doing this in real time, you'd want to make this firmer, so you can see the difference. So this is relatively firm, this one is squishier. So you want to take, I've gone off the screen again, take, ooh, meatloaf is the best sandwich in the world. Ooh, I think there might be fights in the comments. I don't know if it'll translate to North America, but a crisp sandwich is, I would say, it's got to be white cheap bread, salt and vinegar crisps. That's chips if you're in the North America, and lots of butter. Crisp sandwich is, yep, that is the sandwich of kings. Is it just giant sausage? Not like special sausage? This is starting to look, I'm not going to do the castellations on this, because I want to show you an example of one without castellations, but I am going to make sure it's got the name for it. You would think I would do some research before I decide what I'm doing. No. Especially not when my wonderful assistant, Andy, she works full time in the shop for me, asked if she could design a felt along. And I said, yes, of course, that would be wonderful. And every fortnight, I'm like, would you like to do it this week? Because she's halfway through designing it. And then she panics and doesn't. I think she's too scared of chatting to you guys, which is ridiculous. So I asked her this morning, I was like, oh hey, do you want to do it tonight? Have you finished your thing? And she's like, nope, no I do not. So I panicked, designed the castle, and I'm very happy with it. I think my brain is one of those brains that definitely works better under pressure, and if I have lots of time to think about something, I do not do it. Here we go. So we've got our vague, weird mushroom shape. going to take a little bit and wrap it around there and stab it in. Now I want to reiterate, you don't want it to be a really thick big line. It is just a little bit of shadow. So I'm going to make sure I stab it in quite well. There we go. And I'm going to flatten the top a little bit. In fact, I'm going to flatten it with my circle. Crenellations. Thank you. Crenellations. Not crinolines, which is my initial one. Maybe crinoline and crenellations have a similar area where it came from. Is etymology bugs? I shouldn't be allowed to talk. Crenellations. So what's a castellation? Am I just making that name up? I think I might just be making that up. It'll get added to the dictionary at some point. Okay, so I'm going to try and flatten the top, squish it in, being careful at this point not to stab me fingers. So I'm not going straight down, because that is when finger stabbing happens, and we don't like this. There we go. So we have, and you can see you can squish it a little bit. It's fine. Okay, we have second tower. Tower, that's the word I was looking for. Oh my. Right, second tower is going to go there. So I'm going to, again, I didn't quite leave it as fluffy as I wanted it to, so I'm going to pull that end out. And so this is it's getting a little bit Howl's Moving Castle. If any of you have seen the Miyazaki film Howl's Moving Castle, beautiful film. It's like a steampunk castle that walks around. It's wonderful. I don't think I'm giving anything away there. No spoilers. This could be like a mini Howl's. Okay, so again, I'm going to take it out of the pot, put it where I want it to go, and then start stabbing the fluffy bits at the bottom. Let's see, hold it so you can see it. In, and just working my way around, making sure I'm going down the tower as well and pushing that. You can do, oh, I'm going to do it. I might have time. I'm going to do like a little small guardhouse down there or something like that. There's no right and wrong castle on a hill. There we go. That's that. Let's put it in and see how it's looking. Nice. I kind of like to. Oh dear. I'm just so easily pleased apparently. Again, you can also leave your doors to the end if you want to. And because it's not thoroughly felted in, if your door is in the wrong place, you can at this stage pull it off. I will say at the end, you want to thoroughly felt everything in so it's not going anywhere. But at this stage we've still got a little bit of movement. I mean, this isn't going anywhere, but we've still got a little movement with the, I'll put the door back on, hold on. With doors and windows. Windows are just smaller doors. Try putting windows in. I find it looks a bit odd, so I don't put them in. But I'm going to encourage you to try it. And if you don't like it, take them out. No harm. And you can also have doors on both sides, on multiple doors. Right, I'm going to do a little guardhouse, I think, down somewhere around here. So to do my little guardhouse. Oh, my tummy is about to rumble. Penguin, you made it! Look, Penguin, we're making tiny castles. It's so exciting. In a pot for pins. Do I have time? Do I know where my pins are? No, I don't know where my pins are. So I'm going to make a really short stumpy, probably just basically a ball. What's happening, Penguin? Tell us all the things. You've missed me mispronouncing crenellations for most of this episode. Is this an episode? Most of this stream. No castle is perfect. They should all be wonky. Talking of wonky, we're late in the stream now. If you're still here, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. But have any of you seen the online sensation in the wool community that is Wonky the sheep that lives on the Isle of Tiree? If you have not, I highly recommend you go on TikTok, Instagram, all of those ones, and look up Wonky the sheep. It is a beautiful journey. And this little sheep that was born slightly wonky. And wait, where am I going with this? Yeah, so we now have in the shop the wool from the flock that Wonky lives with. Wonky is too young to be shorn, but the other sheep in the flock, we have their wool. And Wonky's human brought the wool in, and we had a great chat. And we are now proud stockists of, well, it's called the Angry Triangle wool, but I call it Wonky wool. So I'm trying to not square off, but cylinder? Is that the right word? Cylindrical? Tube. Make it into a tube with a flat top. There we go. Done. And then it can just be, oh, a little guardhouse there. Yes. Yeah, this one's going to have, I'm not going to do them tonight because we've only got, what's 5 plus 2? 7. Public maths at this time of night should not be happening. Also, you just saw my brain working out time, because I know I finished at 5:15, so that's a 5, and then it was 8, which is 10 minutes. Anyway, no, yes, they are so cute. Not that I'm tooting my own horn, Penguin, but they are so cute, and I'm absolutely in love with them. But I'm totally tooting my own horn. Don't stab yourself. And again, I'm leaving one end, that's the end I've been holding. One end slightly fluffy. I mean, if you don't leave the end slightly fluffy, it's not the end of the world. You can either do what I did before, which is add more on, or it's just going to be a lot harder to secure it in. Ooh! That was my finger! I did exactly what I told you guys not to do. It's not bleeding, it's fine. Okay, where... There. So you can, oh, that's a good idea. I should have done that before. Nah, that's far too sensible. So I'm going to stab right the way through and decide where I want it to go. Hanging off the back. Ooh, I think maybe there. No, I want it at the front. Yeah, it's going at the front there. Then I'm going to do another there. again, stabbing the fluff in, trying very hard not to stab yourself. Concentration. Oh no, centre back. I didn't see. Too late. I will put another one at the centre back. Because this one is going to have loads of them. I'm not going to get them all done tonight. In fact, I'm not going to get any more done tonight. But I will post on the social medias in a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, the finished one. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the brown, hiccup at you, and pop in a little door, squish it into there. You could, if you've made it this far, you're one of my best. You can also make these standing stones. Maybe that is next week's one. Standing stones in a pot. Oh no. Oh, I think that might be next time. Remind me. Somebody remind me in 2 weeks' time that we're doing standing stones in a pot. We've done castles. Gonna do standing stones. Okay, right. I'm done. We've got 2 minutes left. So let's do a quick recap. We have felted a ball. We have covered a bit of the ball in grass. We felted tubes. We made the tops flat. We've put in a little bit of dark brown around the bottom. And we've done some crenellations. Crenellations? Oh, a ghost! Oh! Penguin, you're full of all of the best ideas. Yeah, sorry, we've done crenellations on one, we've done one without crenellations, and we've done one without anything on the top. We left one in fluffy to stab it in. So this is still too fluffy, because you can tell when I'm squishing it in, it takes a bit of effort. Well, not too squishy. You can leave it squishy if you want. It's entirely up to you. But I prefer if it's a little bit firmer, like this one, and it sits in really nicely into the pot. You can do as many or as little castles as you like. You can have them run down. You can have them talking in a circle. How would I do a ghost? No, I'm not even going to try. It's 1 minute left. We're not going to do a ghost. But let's bring them up so you guys can see my wonky ones, which, if I hadn't been rushing to get this in an hour, would be wonderful, and the ones that have been thoroughly finished. I even put this little castle's got 2 doors. But thank you guys for joining me. Yeah, I guessed it was ghost. Just a little bit of white fluff. I happen to have some white fluff right next to me. How am I gonna... Here, I did a ghost. Yeah. Yeah. a little ball there. Squish. There we go. We have a ghost. But yes, thank you for joining me. If you do the likey, subscribey things, I always appreciate it. We have a Facebook group. It's linked below, where you can post your finished ones, or even anything felting related. We love it. Yeah, and if you're watching this after the fact, give us a comment as well. We really appreciate it. I am going to sign off because I'm going to go and find my sewing box real quick and see if I can find my pins. Chat amongst yourselves. The stream's finished. Okay, that was a lot easier than I expected because it was literally behind me. I've got my little... Oh my god. Okay. This is a thing. I'm just gonna leave this here. Wait, focus. It's not focusing. You can hear the ghost rummaging around. The ghost of me. Okay, right, now I am going. Thank you, my squishies. It has been wonderful. I will see you. Oh dear. I will see you in 2 weeks for possibly stone circles, possibly something else, possibly Andy's picture.